Stradivarius violins are considered some of the finest musical instruments ever made. For centuries, they've been played on the world's most famous stages, from Venice to Hong Kong. Cremona is the Italian city that gave birth to those violins. Now people who live there are being told to be as quiet as possible because of an ambitious project to preserve the sounds of these million-dollar instruments. Seth Doane went to Cremona to see the project firsthand.
This road is closed, the parking lot cordoned off, and residents are encouraged to drive slowly over the cobblestone streets because any vibration could ruin what's happening inside. While no tickets were sold, these performances will be remembered forever. Recorded in this concert hall built for the star, not the performer, but the instrument. This one, a more than 300-year-old Stradivarius known as Vesuvio, is kept like a jewel under glass here at the Violin Museum in Cremona, Italy.
You have how many microphones?
32 in total.
Thomas Coricchi is in charge of recording each note to ultimately create a digital database of 4 precious instruments from the museum. Each violin, he explained, can produce roughly 100,000 so-called articulations, various sounds, tones, and note changes.
We try to capture the entire range of the instrument, from the lowest note to the highest, and from the softest note to the loudest.
You can't just play with the volume?
No, because the sound is different.
They're so rare that some of the most skilled musicians may never touch these instruments. So the idea of the database is to democratize them, allowing anyone with the software the chance to play, at least digitally.
These are the notes here.
Yeah, exactly.
But the recording process is easily disrupted.
One of the microphones.
When you're sitting in here listening to your 32 different microphones, what errant sounds have you picked up from the city?
Well, there's almost anything. Of course, cars. We hear cars. We hear dogs barking. Sometimes we hear stilettos.
You can hear someone's heels?
Yeah.
Cremona's mayor asked citizens to be understanding of measures to keep quiet. And if any place would be, it's here, birthplace to famed violin maker Antonio Stradivari, and the violin itself. Today, Cremona has more than 150 violin shops.
While they're recording, do you have to tiptoe around the museum?
Being light-footed is part of the daily activity here, Maestro Fausto Cacciatori told us. He's in charge of moving this violin, with some Stradivariuses valued at more than $10 million. There's always a guard nearby. Time will obviously affect the acoustics of the instruments, Cacciatori explained. So they're recording them now, with microphones so sensitive that performers remove watches so the ticking won't be heard.
We don't know how they sounded 200 years ago. And we don't know how they will sound in 100 years. So what we capture right now is the sound of these instruments today in this hall.
The challenge is to capture the pure sound of this old instrument without any of the noise pollution of today. For CBS This Morning, Seth Doane, Cremona, Italy.
Well, that's a lot of work, but wow, how important to do.
Well, it's a repository of notes.
Yeah, you don't know what age will do to the instrument, which is why they want to record it now.
And if you have those notes from centuries ago, you can put them to songs today.
Yeah, I like what they're saying about even tiptoeing in stilettos. If you all tried to do that,
the stilettos.
That's very difficult, Tony. I'm just saying, do not try that at home.